Welcome to Screw the Commute, the entrepreneurial podcast dedicated to getting you out of the car and into the money with your host, lifelong entrepreneur and multimillionaire, Tom Antion.
Hey everybody, it's Tom here with episode 254 of Screw the Commute podcast. We're here with Lane Belone, and this is part of what we're calling Humble Alpha Week. He is the co-author and partner in crime with Bronze Star recipient Stephen Kuhn, who's going to be on this Friday with an entirely different take on what a humble alpha is, or maybe they've made up what a humble alpha is. And ladies, don't feel bad. You're going to love this this kind of stuff. So hang in there. All right. I hope you didn't miss episode 253. That's one of my training sessions. It's going to be called Personality Power, and that's not going to be confused with Tony Robbins' personal power. I mean, there are pleasing personality traits that you can develop to gain great respect in both your professional and personal lives. And this great respect can turn into business deals and lots of money. And I'm not talking about being fake here. I'm talking about truly working on yourself to be a better person. So that was episode 253. So I hope you didn't miss grabbing a copy of my automation ebook. It saved me saved me 7.5 million keystrokes over the years. And that's just one tip. And we cover cell phone automation and all kinds of stuff in this book. And we sell it for $27, but it's yours free for listening to this podcast. So you grab a copy of that at screwthecommute.com/automate-free, screwthecommute.com/automate-free. And while you're there, grab a copy of our podcast app. And we have video training and we have screen capture training. You know, a lot of people give you an app and then you've got to figure out how to use it. Well, that's not how we roll. You're going to easily see all the fancy things it'll do on your cell phone and tablet so you can take us with you on the road. All right, our sponsor is the Internet Marketing Training Center of Virginia. It's a distance learning school. And guess what? After 11 years of distance learning, we're finally going to open up to in-house classes because we're applying to be accepted for the GI Bill. And we're putting a call out for veteran-friendly CPAs that are willing to give us a great deal on the easiest audit they'll ever do in their life, which is required for us to get the GI Bill going. So I want to help as many veterans as I can. So if you know anybody that's an accountant that's qualified to do audits, let me talk to them. I'll make them a deal they can't refuse. All right. So that's at imtcva.org, where you can get an online career in as little as 6 months. And we even have people making money after a month. You know, so this is highly in-demand skills that we teach. And I have been living this life since 1994, 26 years now. So check it out at imtcva.org. And everything we do that's clickable will be in the show notes. This is episode 254. So all you have to do is put screwthecommute.com/254, and you'll be able to get to my stuff and all the stuff Lane's going to tell you about. All right, let's get to the main event. Lane Belone is a Special Forces Green Beret veteran who helps entrepreneurs achieve purpose and reach optimal performance. His experience builds trust and adaptability within executive teams, forming them into laser-focused A-teams. And his travels to 40 countries, and he's climbed mountains, and he roughed the Arctic, and he helps lead others to break through their unknown, stepping into their greatness. And he's the co-author of the Humble Alpha book, and that is what this week's all about, the Humble Alpha. Lane, are you ready to screw?
Let's do it, Tom.
How you doing, man?
Let's do it. I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
Good. It's been a while since I saw you at the Military Influencers Conference, and this book is a brainchild. How long have you been working on this book?
Yeah, well, the beginnings of the book and the putting it together has been pretty much Stephen and I's whole life. but intentionally we've been writing it and putting it together for about 6 or 8 months or so.
Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us about the title. What's it all about?
Yeah. So the title of the book is Unleash Your Humble Alpha. And the subtitle is Own Your Presence in Life and Become the Epic Leader You Are Meant to Be.
All right. And what is a humble alpha?
I'm glad you asked that. Since we're let's kick off Humble Alpha Week with a good definition.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And plus,
humble.
like I said earlier, women want to listen up to this, right? Because they love humble alphas, right?
Yeah. So far, we've gotten great response from a lot of women saying, "Hey, I want a humble alpha in my life."
Okay.
So let's kick it off with a good definition.
All right.
And humble alpha is proud, but not full of pride. He's not cocky. He doesn't puff his chest out to make a point. He's confident with his head held high, never hanging his head down. He sees the potential in every person, even when they don't see it in themselves. Operates from a place of completeness. He's whole, pouring into others because his cup is full and running over. He respects free will, honoring every person's choice and unique expressions. He has a tremendous power inside, and others see it without him saying a word. He's driven and resilient, transcending plateaus and tearing down barriers. He always listens and asks questions more than he talks. He lives by principles and values, not by peer pressure or trends. He speaks for the truth, especially when it's hard because he knows a lie always makes him lay down the best part of himself. Situationally aware and intuitively knows the next move to make, trusting himself and taking action. He knows what the moment calls for and lives fully present in each one. Every action he takes is intentional. He always grows and always mastering. He gives whatever it takes, running towards greatness and realizes his dreams. That's a humble alpha. And you
Wow.
listening right now, that's you.
Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, but you left something out. For the ladies, he can probably fix stuff around the house too.
Yeah, yeah. that was the next one. I forgot
that one. Right. Wow, wow. That's quite a definition. Who wouldn't want a person like that? I mean, geez. That's an amazing definition. Now I hear both of you talking about quality of life quite a bit. How does that work into this?
Yeah. So how Stephen and I define quality of life is no matter what you're doing, whether it's life, business, or otherwise, that you're fully enjoying that moment and being intentional with every action, everything that you do. So, a lot of people that don't experience quality of life, that means that they're doing some kind of job or they own a business that they're not fully aligned with. And so because they're not aligned with it, they don't really want to be there. And there's all this friction. And so how we simply define it is no matter what you're doing, you're enjoying that moment.
Wow. Yeah. And I think I heard Stephen, for everybody on here, does a thing in this Facebook group called the Vetrepreneur Tribe about and talks about these issues every day morning. He does what they call the purge. And so I'm sure I heard him talking about this one. But even if you are work and you're kind of stuck at a job you don't like, you can still make the best of that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's about just knowing what you're going for and then taking small incremental steps towards that. And we all have that within us. And it's just a matter of identifying what doesn't resonate, what doesn't align with us, and then finding the direction and taking that step forward towards the thing that we really want, the type of work, the type of business, the people that we want to hang out with, the activities and the hobbies that we do, and being able to just be intentional about it and then start taking small incremental steps towards that.
But a humble alpha would never just slack off and cheat the employer, I imagine.
Oh, not at all. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because that's tearing themselves down by doing that. So now this book launch that you've got going has a charitable aspect to it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we're doing a unique kind of book launch, and it's actually a crowdfunding book launch, and with half the proceeds going towards a charity called Generosity Feeds. And I mean, this organization is incredible. They've fed or they've donated over 3.5 million meals across the U.S.
Wow.
And they're just a very heart-centric organization. And it's not about just feeding kids, but it's also building the infrastructure behind it. So with each one of their events, they have special type of strategy and coordination to encourage leaders within the community to be a part of it, and not just for that single event, but to embed that into their character, embed that into their normal behavior. So it's not just about feeding kids, but building an infrastructure behind it to where generosity is a new gold standard for communities.
Yeah, that's great. You know, I had something to do with feeding a bunch of homeless kids in Las Vegas, and it was extremely powerful thing that, and you know, helping kids, the helpless of our society. But you know, I'd rather give money to those places, because if I was there working, and I'd say, oh, 3.5 million meals, who's going to miss a couple? I'll eat some. So I'd probably get kicked out for eating the kids' meals. so you got a crowdfunding site set up, right?
Yeah. We're doing a crowdfunding through the Indiegogo platform, and just being able to, you know, we have two reasons why we're using the crowdfunding. And first is that if anybody's ever tried to publish a book, it takes a while.
Yeah.
And so we want to get this idea of the Humble Alpha out there as fast as possible. So speed to market, getting this book into the hands of entrepreneurs, leaders, and you know, men all over the country.
Is this hardcover, soft cover?
Yeah, so we'll have different options. Yeah,
Okay.
so there'll be regular soft cover, and then we'll actually have a limited edition hardcover autographed as part of the launch for those that like first edition autographed books. That will be available for the launch.
Is the crowdfunding thing open yet?
No, not yet.
Oh, when will it open?
Well, by the time people actually listen to this, it will be open. So
what's the date? What's the date that it'll be open?
Yeah, 2 March is the launch date.
Perfect.
So by the time you listen to this, whether it's the first day or later on, everybody that's listening to this right now can just go to humblealphabook.com. And from there, you'll find out all the information that you need on how to support the book launch, support the cause, and other cool things that are in the works.
Now, what kind of perks do you have for people that contribute?
Yeah, so for anybody that is unfamiliar with crowdfunding, many times campaigns have multiple different options, so they can support in a little way, a medium way, or a lot of ways.
Right.
So we'll have the ebook available, audiobook, the regular book in your hand. We'll have some options for small businesses to buy the book for themselves and their employees, along with a special class that we call immediate impact revenue, to where small businesses are able to learn about 8 different ways of increasing their revenue immediately. And it'll be a live call along with Q&A, and we'll actually have some hot seats available, and you can find out more on the page to find out how you can get in a hot seat, because those are some of the most valuable pieces of time that you can do towards immediate impact revenue. We'll also have a couple.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, we'll also have a couple higher ticket items, and if you wanted to support in a bigger way, we can either have a conference call with you and your business for a half a day, VIP half day, and we'll discuss anything and everything about your business, along with a case of books. And then also we can even fly to your location, depending on how much you want to support and how much this movement and this book resonates with you.
Wow. How about if they give $10,000, they get a trip to Peru? Tell them about that yearly trip.
Yeah, so in Peru, Stephen and I, we take business leaders, entrepreneurs, and veterans down, and we get really clear on identity, purpose, and certainty in
Is
life,
this
and
all
really just
humble alphas, or is this females can come to that too?
yeah. So it's open to anybody,
Okay.
and but the thing is that it's an experience and a journey that calls people, and you can find out more about that experience. But it's a really powerful experience. It's um, a really incredible way to grow as a person and know exactly what your next step is in life and in business. And you can find out more about our website, and that'll be in the show notes.
Okay. So that's a different site than the humble alpha book.
Yeah, that's located on
Hmm.
our regular site, QOLenterprises.com.
Quality of life,
And
right?
yeah, your QOL stands for quality of life.
Yeah, quality of life. Yeah, you got to say it
Yeah.
a certain way.
You got to say, yeah, Stephen coined the
Yeah,
coined the way to say it, and it just doesn't feel right if you don't say
right.
quality of life.
That's what he does every day. So, yeah, so that's an amazing thing too. So, tell everybody a little bit about your background, how you came through the ranks, and then how you two met, and how you kind of gelled with this idea of the alpha male.
Yeah, so I was in the military for 12 years, about 10 of it in special operations, and just really gave it my all every single small step. And I had a lot of people, a lot of leaders and guides, shaping my path and pointing me towards the right direction. And I traveled to many different countries, did a lot of different missions, and just really focused on how do I perform the best I can in that moment. And eventually that led me to get out of the military and focus on things like this book launch
Yeah,
and,
right.
uh, and and other stuff that we have in the works. And so Stephen and I, we were part of a group called the Vetpreneur Tribe that
Hmm.
Tom had mentioned just before. At the time, we were just members of the tribe, and for those that are listening now, we're now the leaders of it. But when we first met, we were just kind of going back and forth, getting to know each other, and one thing led to another. A lot of synchronicities and a lot of great things happened, and we ended up meeting for the first time in person down in Peru, and we really connected on a very deep level and understood each other very well, and figured out that we were both going in a similar direction. And so from that time, we just started doing a couple of things together. We put together an online course called the last goal setting course you'll ever need. And then from there, just kept on uh, helping entrepreneurs, helping veterans. And that's what led to us putting together this book. We were just taking a whole bunch of small steps, and it actually led to the naming of the Humble Alpha during our second time in Peru. And so it's kind of funny that Stephen had this group called the Humble Man, and I had a group called the Authentic Alpha. And yeah, and so we just one day when we were down in Peru, we just like, hey, hmm, Humble Alpha. That sounds about right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and Stephen and I work very intuitively, and a lot of the work that we had to do in writing the book was actually unfolding and kind of identifying all the stuff that we've been doing intuitively for years and years and years. And so the Humble Alpha name came about in Peru, and then it wasn't until about 6 or 7 months later that we actually started using the Humble Alpha, and then eventually became the title of the book that we're now launching.
Well, I got to tell you, folks, and if there's anybody that walks their talk, it's these two, because I met these guys in person. They embraced me into their group, and I'm not even a veteran, and they really live. I mean, either one of them could tear you to pieces just for fun if they wanted to, but as good as my protection dog. But they just they just are quietly powerful. When they walk by, it's just you feel a power from these guys, and they're helping other people to tap into their own power. I guess you would say, with this Humble Alpha, because it's in there already. It's just through a lot of the things that have happened to people, I guess it's suppressed, and they're helping to bring it out, which is really great. So Stephen's going to come on Friday. So what's he going to talk about?
Well, Steven's going to talk about a lot of cool things about the book, but I think the biggest thing is that this book is not just a book. This book is not just helping feed some hungry kids. This book is the start of something big, a movement, a humble alpha
Mm-hmm.
movement. And it's going to affect hundreds of thousands of men all across the U.S. and otherwise. And I'm really excited to hear about what he's going to talk about, because it's really reshaping and rewriting some things that we think that is a known in society, but it's actually something that we can control as the people, as the populace. And I'm really excited to hear about what he has to say and how he's going to describe this really powerful movement.
Yeah, because it's really needed. I mean, there's so many ties to troubles in our country, tied to uh, you know families growing up without the male in the family. All the powerful things of raising families and things that affects all areas of life, business and personal, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's part of our philosophy, is that there's a full integration between life and business. And again, being able to enjoy and appreciate every single moment, whether it's one of the two. And the way we look at it is that there is no difference. It's all just different present moments, one after another. And if we live intentionally and fully integrate and set goals for these different areas of life, that eventually we're going to come to a place to where we don't even have to think about it. We don't have to think about being our greatest selves, thinking about really crushing business and uplifting and elevating our teammates and employees, and being able just to do that organically. Just that's who you are. And so it's a full integration.
Well, I can see in business, a bunch of humble alphas together could probably be a more empowered team than the typical teams you see, where people dominate and people have trouble and people slack off.
Yeah, 100%. And, having a group of humble alphas, or those that are on their humble alpha journey together, really makes it the process and the journey easier, because we all have those moments to where we doubt ourselves or we run into challenges, we make mistakes. And if we're by ourselves on this path, then it could be difficult. We all know that. And when we have those that are on a very similar journey, that have a similar destination in mind, but their own version of it, it's much easier to elevate each other and to say, hey, you know what, it's, you made a mistake, or this challenge, is small. You have it within you. You can keep taking next steps, and let me tell you how I can help you. That kind of thing.
Yeah, and pretty soon you'll have a humble alpha employment agency, because everybody's going to want to hire these people, and then the humblepreneur group. Did you start that yet? You better go grab that group right away. The humblepreneur.
Well, actually, it's the humble alpha idea is much bigger than just males. Of course, Stephen and I are both males. We're both veterans, and so that's the demographic, that's the target that we are breaking this idea out
Mm-hmm.
into the world with. But the picture is much larger, and being able to apply the humble alpha philosophy to entrepreneurs, solopreneurs. We even have an idea of how to apply the humble alpha philosophy to politics and to the voter. And these things are all in the works.
Wow.
Um, a lot of great things are in the works right now. And, but, as we all know, we need to take this next step. And for us, this book is the next step, but we have a vision, we have a plan for how to apply this humble alpha philosophy in many different facets of life.
Like the humble socialist. Yeah, you could do a lot of things with this, I can see.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so thanks so much for coming on. Give them those websites again.
Yeah. So to support the book and find out more information about what the book's about, what the book launch is about, and donating proceeds to Generosity Feeds and the movement, you can go to humblealphabook.com. and you'll find out ways to support the book. And there's also some really great ways to win a free trip to Hawaii, just by spreading the word. And also, if you have a large audience, if you have a following, there's a way to benefit in a positive way with our referral system. So,
great.
All of that's with going to humblealphabook.com.
Great.
And for the other stuff for Peru and other details about Stephen and I and QOL Enterprises, you can go to QOLenterprises.com.
Great. Yeah, we'll have all that in the show notes. And then I'm giving away free 2-week cruise vacations in Wuhan, China. You can all expenses paid. You just
perfect timing.
Yeah, you can. It's totally free. You can just stay there. So all right. So coming up is Bronze Star recipient Stephen Kuhn will be coming up Friday, and picking up where Lane left off and talking about the movement and giving you all the details and from his perspective. And both of these guys are just the bomb. So thanks so much for coming on, Lane.
Tom, I appreciate you and all the things that you've done throughout your career, and so many things that you do that many people may not see. But just wanted to let your audience know that we appreciate you coming into our tribes and providing value and just sharing your knowledge and wisdom with us.
It's my pleasure. Like I said, I couldn't do what I'm doing if it wasn't for you guys risking your butts, keeping us safe. So thanks so much, Lane, and we will catch everybody Friday for Stephen Kuhn to let us know what the movement is all about, and he's going to rock your world. So catch everybody in the next episode. See you later.